So what's the date today? Sunday, September the
24th.
24th. Yeah, 24th. Okay. All right. So everybody's going to grab their props. They're going to have 2 cord blocks, a strap, a blanket, a bolster, and we might even grab ourselves a foam block. So we're going to grab some foam blocks as well. We're going to explore a new suit of how to use Sasana. And for those of you who have sensitive buttocks cheeks, having the foam block might help a little. Since all of you are in your supported back bends, we'll just linger here for a few more moments. So today we're setting up our cord blocks like so. My dear, you might want to join us now and take the bolster away. Yep. And we're going to take the straps off. Just keep the loop. So just come on and sit up and just take your loop off. And we're all going to start together. Bringing our blocks like so. Just like so. So that the highest block under the head is at the highest level and the second one is at the second level. If you find that this is too much for you, feel free to go down a level, no biggie, okay? So my dear, move your cord blocks away from the wall, like at least a foot. Keep going, keep it further. Yeah, girl, good. So the 2 cord blocks should be somewhere between about 8 inches to 12 inches apart. So you see your 2 yeah, exactly. And then let's come and sit, say a foot or so in front of the blocks. So there's a good foot there. And we're just coming and laying over the blocks, finding our comfort spot. And we're starting with the legs extended long. That's it. So just walk your heels a little further forward if you can. And flex the feet so you can start to feel the backs of the thighs press down to the floor. So you can start to feel your sits bones grip the floor. So the sits bones are trying to grip or scoop to grow a few roots. And the heels are walking away from the sits bones. And as we let the sits bones be heavy, let's start to breathe together now. So take a slow, smooth inhale right up into the crease of the armpit chest. So feel the inhale, lift and lengthen through the crease of the armpit chest. Follow through your exhale, slow and smooth. Completely finish that exhale now. Good. Again, slow, smooth inhale. So take your time with that breath. And as the breath comes into the upper collarbone area, allow the breath to explore that collarbone area before you follow through the exhale. So taking your time with the breath. Following all the way through the exhale, making that exhale the same length as the inhale. So again, slow, smooth inhale. Start to breathe more deeply now. Focusing on your breath, following all the way through the exhale. So be with that breath. Watch the breath. Making the exhale just as important as the inhale. So the more we start to focus on the breath, the more we can start to feel the mind fall away. The mind softens as the breath comes to the forefront. Let's take the hands to the elbows, and let's reach the elbows up and overhead, widening the outermost forearm away from the center line of the body. So let that inhale come right into the armpit chest. Follow all the way through the exhale as you start to release the back of the shoulders down away from the ears. But we continue that sense of lifting through the front. So on your next exhale, feel a sense of continually opening through the front of the body as you release the shoulders down away from the ears. Breathe deeply, let the mind go. Let that ongoing conversation release. Focus on the breath. Elbows back down. Let's change the clasp of the hands to the elbows. This will be your more awkward side, because typically we go to the easier side first. Reaching the elbows up and overhead. Letting the back of the shoulders release and continuing that sense of stretching and opening through the front. We create this active counter stretch by reaching through the heels and then allowing the upper arms to create an opposing direction. Two different directions, creating this counter stretch deep inside the body as we start to allow the breath to bring about that journey of awareness, our own personal sense of awareness that comes through this journey of the breath. So let the mind go, let the breath lead the effort now. Let's release the arms out to the T position, bring your fingertips to the floor. Let's inhale and again. Lift through this crease of the armpit chest, right where the arm and the torso meet. So that front crease of the armpit chest lifts up through the inhale. We continue that sense of lifting to the front, releasing the back of the shoulders down away from the ears. And now let's start to tighten the muscles of the upper forearms around the bones. Start to feel the upper muscles tighten around the biceps and triceps. Around the bone, the biceps and triceps are gripping the bone. Tightening around the bone, adhering to the bone. Letting the breath create that sense of balance and unity as you inhale. Following through the exhale. Just release your forearms. Let's take the left foot on top of the right thigh. So if it's possible to take your right hand to your left ankle, take that foot even higher up. So we grab from the ankle, not the foot, working that left ankle towards the right hip bone, and then we let that left thigh lengthen. So that inner left thigh is externally rotating out. And then that left thigh is lengthening from the top left hip along that upper thigh out through the kneecap. So the more you feel a sense of lengthening that left thigh, the more you will press the back of that right thigh down, grounding the right femur bone, wrapping the right femur bone around the right thigh. Good job, everybody. So let's take the right foot now, bend your right knee and take your right foot towards your left hip. So again, if you can use your left hand to reach for that right ankle and take it right towards that left hip, and then let those thighs lengthen through to the kneecaps. Let's take the left hand behind the lower back towards that right hip. And if you can manage threading your right wrist on top of your left, behind the lower back. Let's work from the center of the buttocks now. And as we inhale again, lift through the crease of the armpit, chest. So lifting the belly, lifting the sternum energetically inside the body. Releasing the elbows, the backs of the shoulders down and away from the ears. So the collarbone widens as the outer shoulder blades draw away from each other and the inner shoulder blades are lifting up in towards the spine. And we're lengthening those thighs from the hips out through the kneecaps. Breathe deeply now. Let the breath lead the effort. Let the mind go now. No thoughts, no opinions about what you're doing. So watch the mind. When the mind starts to converse, drop the mind. Separate the mind. You are not your mind. So focus on the breath. No thoughts. Opinions, no conclusions. All are limiting. All create boundaries and division. So let everything be open, working together as one now. So we work from the center of the buttocks, finding this sense of unity from the breath. That yoking of all things coming together as one is that moment of yoga. Letting the breath lead the effort, letting the mind soften and fall away. And in that moment is where we start to become an observer, where we start to watch the breath, where we start to witness. We become a witness to the effort. We create some space, and in this place is where that freedom is, that moksha, where we're present, there's no future, no past. And we can start to connect with that sense of joy. That freedom that comes from breathing deeply and being present. Okay, that's all. Extend the legs long again. Good, let's release the arms. If anybody needs to take a break, so first thing in the morning when I do this, it's very intense, and if I need to take a break, I would come into a child's pose. But I think we're good here, so Jim, feel free to take a child's pose if you need to. So let's take the right foot up towards the left hip. So see how far you can get, and then grab the left hand to that right ankle. Try to work from the ankle, not the foot. Bringing that ankle on top of the left hip. So don't let the foot come over to the side. Good job. Think about lengthening that right thigh. So the right thigh rolls out, and then from that right hip bone, it lengthens energetically out through the top of the thigh, extending through the kneecap. And the more we work this right thigh, lengthening that right thigh, the more this left thigh will start to come down towards the floor. And we can work that left leg as well, working through the heel, tightening that left thigh to the bone. Letting the breath create the effort for us, letting the breath lead the way. It's a really enjoyable enjoyable place to be, to surrender to the breath and let the mind go. That's why we suggest that there's so much bliss in that place of freedom. So let's bend the left leg. Take the left foot as close to that right hip as you can. That's it. Try to drop the knees down, working from the center of the buttocks. Let's take the right hand behind the lower back towards the left hip, and then take your left wrist on top of the right, behind the lower back, working from the center of the buttocks. Let your breath lead the effort here. So feel the sit bones, feel your tailbone, and let's lift from the inhale, lifting the belly, lifting the sternum, lifting through the sides of the crease of the armpit chest, creating that length in the spine from the pelvis, using the breath. The deeper you breathe, the deeper you will go into the pose. Mind is not running the show anymore. It's the breath that leads the effort. It's the breath that holds the magic. It's the body's natural tool of negotiating through the tension inside the body. The more you let that exhale roll, the more you finish your exhale, the more you feel that sense of letting go, or you will release whatever it is you no longer need. So making space for newness to come through the inhale, the life force and prana that creates newness and space, but we also have to let go and create that space by releasing through the exhale. Good job. All right, so let's all release the legs. And let's roll to the right. So we come off our blocks, coming over to the right. And let's take our blocks to support for Adho Mukha Virasana. So a child's pose with the head supported. And then let's take the arms forward and grip the block with our index and thumb. So create that 90-degree angle around the block with the instep of the thumb and index finger. Knees are wide, feet together, and the head is supported. So initially use your hands and press into the floor, releasing your hips down to the heels. And then as you inhale, lift the lower ribs, lift the belly, feeling that front of the body open through the inhale. And as you exhale, elbows straight, see if you can draw the upper outer forearms in towards each other. So inhale, let the breath lengthen the spine from the hips, from the crease of the pelvis. Upper outer forearms draw in. This is how we measure the distance between our hands and feet for downward dog. Let's lift the hips up here and drawing those outer shoulders down away from the ears. The outer forearms grip that imaginary block by drawing in. Let's tuck the toes in and under, leading with your hips, downward dog. So first cue of the day is to lift the kneecaps up. So take several efforts to pull those kneecaps up and start to push down through your heels.
slightly in. And through the base of the foot, we widen through the ball of the foot as we lengthen through the back heel, making the back heel narrower and narrower. Lifting through your kneecaps. So we're working to lengthen through the sides of the body here. So without letting your sacrum come forward, so don't let your hips come forward here. Lift your heels ever so slightly off the ground. Don't let your sacrum come forward as we lift the heels. And we can feel the length coming through the sides of the body as we take those heels down again, lifting up through the kneecaps. So try that a couple of times without letting your hips or sacrum or buttocks come forward. Try to lift your heels, keeping this length, and then take those heels down a little further. Very nice, you guys. Let's drop the knees down. And just move your blocks off to the side. We're just doing a moment of footwork, just a moment, so don't panic. But it really does help to open your hips. Let's bring the big toes together. And just start by pressing your inner heels together and pressing those inner heels down. Pressing your inner heels down. Try to lift your belly without lifting your hips. Let's bring the knees together and drop the knees down, sitting back on the heels. Let's bring the inner heels together. And then since we're here, let's take the right hand to the center of the back, left hand to the right elbow. Release that right forearm down. And now tighten that forearm around the bone as you start to draw that right arm out. So don't pull the arm from the socket. Work to connect the arm into the socket and then tighten the muscles of the arm around the bone. So those biceps and triceps start to tighten. Good. Lower ribs drop down towards the hips and we're tucking a little. Maybe. And then let's release. So untuck your toes. I'll just give you a look at what you're doing. You're sitting ever so slightly inside the ankles. Take your hands underneath your feet. Pressing down through the tops of the ankles. Stretch those feet. Stretch the tops of the ankles. Stretch your shins. Dropping your hips down. You can press evenly through the tops of both ankles. Good job, you guys. And then let's slowly release. And one more time. Let's come and bring the big toes together. Inner heels together. And let's press those inner heels down and see if you can get those ribs as close to your thighs as you can. So you see how my knees are working towards the armpits? Pressing your inner heels down. Just for fun here, right? So open those knees. Try to get those knees towards the underarms. More and more. That's it. So scooch those arms down and down and down. Now I'm not very good at this myself, but just for fun, because we're having a little fun here, right? See if we can lift up into Asana. See if you can lift up. And then eventually we're working towards straightening the arms. And then coming back down, let's drop the knees down, inner ankles, left hand to the center, right hand to the left elbow. Take a break whenever you need to. Yeah, so you typically want to go to the same side. So yeah, so there we go. So let that left forearm connect to the shoulder, and then tighten the muscles around the bone as you start to draw that left arm out. Breathe deeply if you can, full body breath. Good job, you guys. So that's release. And since we're here, let's take the blanket. Because I have lots planned today. So we're just stretching right now. So let's take the blanket underneath the knees. And we'll take the block out to the right. Step your left foot out to the left. So this left foot is lining up with the knee and hand. Left hand up and over. So the block can be high, low, whatever you like. So I'm going to take your block over to the right, that girl, good, and then just step your left foot out to the left. That's it, perfect. That's it. So take that block a little further away from you. Yeah, exactly. Then take your hips forward, and take that left hand all the way over, good. Press that outer left heel into the floor, grip the left buttocks, cheek in as you take the hips forward. Open your left underarm, open your left nipple. And let's create that counter stretch. So as you press your left heel into the floor, left arm works in the opposite direction. Lift the belly. Breathe deeply if you can. Everybody. And then let's slowly lift back up. So it's harder than it looks, right? And let's reach the right arm up. Stretch as high as you can. That's it. Straight up first. That's it. Stretch up. As James Murphy says, stretch. He's a really great Iyengar teacher in New York City. Let's take the right hand over to the left. So Iyengar is a double back bend / lateral twist for the spine. It looks like your mother's yoga, but it has huge value. And eventually the hands come together and the left hand comes to the left foot. Yeah, exactly. Got it. Whatever it takes to explore. So you can see my right elbow is way far in. If I could, I would drop this left hip down and open that right elbow a little more, and then take the hand further to the left. Lift the belly. Breathe deeply. Look ridiculously happy. Good job, you guys. And then let's slowly lift back up. Yeah, stretching is harder than it looks. Dr. Oz says that if we stretch 5 minutes a day, we'll extend our life by decades. So there's a huge value. So let's take the left foot in and just change sides. This is my favorite all-time stretch in the world. I think it has the most in terms of creating that space along the sides of the spine. And these side transverse muscles that wrap around the spine like a girdle are our balancer muscles. They're really important as we age. So press your right heel. See if you can grip that outer right buttocks, cheek in. Outer gluteus medius. Hips forward. Open through the right underarm and nipple area. And then create that double two-directional stretch by pressing the right foot and reaching the right hand in the opposite direction. And the more you hold this, tightening the muscles to the bone, the more you limit the wear and tear on their ligaments and joints. So adhering the muscle to the bone is my opinion of where youth is. It supports the skeleton, and then we stop the imbalances. And then let's slowly lift back up. Let's reach the left arm up. So you guys will really feel the difference here because it's very hot today. And you'll feel so much more energetic at the end of this. Okay. So this right hip is releasing down towards the inner left thigh. The left hand, you got a cramp? Spasm, yeah. Get up and walk around. Feel free to grab a glass of water. I kid you not. You alright? Barely. That's it. Walk around, Jim. Feel free to grab the ropes if you need to. Good job, you guys. And then let's slowly lift back up. Okay, so we'll move the blanket off to the side. And let's take our blocks forward, 3/4 of the way forward to the mat. And we'll come to standing to use our ropes. So let's come and stand and just take your right rope in your right hand, left in your left. Let's cross the ropes. The rope I'm holding with the left hand, I put the right foot through that rope, turning away from the wall. That's it, so take the two bottom ones, honey. No, that's it, now cross the ropes. That's it, now put your right foot in the rope you're holding with the left hand. Atta girl, now turn towards me. You're good, you got it, right on. You got it, now left foot through that rope. Nice, you got it. And then scooch forward so there's some resistance as you lean into the ropes. Let's take the hands down first and see how I take my heels halfway up the wall. And then walk the hands forward and bring your hands on top of the blocks to the highest level. So we're starting to work the upper chest through downward dog. Let's press through the heels, drop your head so you take your heels halfway up the wall. Halfway up, so walk your feet in and take your heels halfway up the wall. Halfway up, feet apart. Sorry. There we go, that's it. Halfway up, keep taking your heels up the wall a little further. There we go. Now drop your head. There, nice. You feel the work now, eh? Nice, nicely done. Okay. So, let's all press through our heels and stretch the armpit chest forward to the hands. And as you press through your palms, draw your lower ribs towards your hips. So we're starting to create a counter stretch in the upper chest by pressing from the heels, reaching the chest forward to the hands, and then pressing those palms actively down into the blocks and taking the lower ribs to the hips. So let the breath lead the effort here, and let's take the lower ribs towards the hips, and now take your sits bones down towards your heels. So sits bones down to the heels. Let's roll the blocks towards us and press your hands as you push the blocks away. Drop your head, drop your chest.
So we're starting to lower the blocks down, which will take the work from the upper chest towards the legs, more and more towards the hips. So press your heels, feel a sense of reaching your chest, reaching your armpits towards your hands, and then press the palms to the blocks. So you can ignite the upper arms, feeling the biceps and triceps wrap around the bone, lower ribs draw towards the hips, sits bones down to the heels. Take a deep breath, everybody. Deep breaths. Breathe deeply. Bring the hands to the feet, feet to the hands. So just walk your hands to your feet, feet to your hands, and then slowly come up here. Good. And let's step out of our ropes. Okay. I have some new stuff we're working into the Sunday class now. So to warm up for that, let's bring the blanket to the wall, right up to the wall. And let's have our core blocks here. Let's take the right knee to the wall. Slide the knee down, keeping it against the wall. And so that the right foot will be slightly on the outer right hip. Let's take the left foot forward. So Jim, you're just doing what you can, right? Getting the quad stretch. So we're going to visit this pose from a number of different perspectives. All right, so let's start to walk the blocks in as we take the hips back. See if you can come up. Just do what you can. That's it, Jim. That's it. You're a runner, so you're going to have very tight groin and quadricep and hip flexors. See if you can drop the left sits bone down towards the inner right thigh. So we're technically scooping that right sits bone in and under. Maybe take your arms up as high as you can so we're opening the chest. That's it. The hips come further to the wall. That's it. At any time, if you need to take a break, take a break. Yes, because it's a really tight one. That's why I thought we would start with this really difficult one. Good job, you guys. Very nicely done. I'm so excited about this stuff. So these lower ribs are working towards the pelvis, and I'm tucking my sits bones. Let's come down, releasing the heads to the block. Left knee down. Right knee forward. There we go. Here's my two sides. I can tell you the first time I did this pose, it was a rude awakening because I was a real athlete at the time and I was horrified at how tight it was. So, left knee to the wall, sliding it down. Making sure that left foot is slightly to the left so that we have space to bring that left hip against the wall. Let's take the right foot forward. You can see my left hip is working towards the wall. Stack
wrapping the knee above the ankle, aligning as best I can, and then coming up. And over the years, you'll find that the sides will change. One decade, one side will be stronger, and then the next decade, something will change. So we try to go into the pose with some neutral force. So there's no preconceived, no preconceptions. Just allow the breath to lead the effort. Try not to have too many opinions about what is happening in the body. It's not your body, and at some point you need to ask the mind to stay out. That's it, Jim. So let's reach the arms up now. Maybe. You can come over like this, but just to get this far is just going to be maybe. You can have fun, maybe not, maybe. You might not like it at all. Woo! Good job. So it's opening the chest, eh? Nice. Sort of. Watch the mind. The mind may be giving you some feedback right now. Try to be a witness. So there's no doing here. Very nicely done, everybody. Let's slowly release. Let's take the right knee down. The left knee forward. Good job. So we're going to continue to open the groin. The question is, what should we do next? So for fun, let's just come down and see if you can go like so. So we're going to come forward here. Make sure you've got a blanket for your head at some point. We're just starting here. You may need a blanket underneath your sits bones. We'll see. So we're just taking the right foot forward. So if you want to sit, Jim, like on a higher level, if you need to sit on underneath that right sits bone, do so. So maybe a bolster even, maybe a lock. Yes, and even a second lock to the right leg or not. Is that going to work for you? Even a bolster? You're good? Cool. So try and take this right sits bone out. You got it. And try not to let the left knee spray out. Try and give that knee a little scooch inwards. And we're just starting to walk forward here. So you see how I've got my right hand? This is for balance because I can feel myself want to go this way. So just do your best here. And I found when I was in the ashram, we did this pose a lot. It actually really helped my hips. I don't do this hip pose that often because it seems like it's just a standard runner's pose. But things are going pretty well. See if you can pull up through this right kneecap, right up through the top of the thigh. So we're igniting the quadricep muscles. There's 4 of them. And we're lifting and wrapping those muscles around the bone. Trying to drop the back of that right thigh down from the inner right groin, the top of the thigh down into the back of the thigh and the outer hip as well. You got it. And then maybe fold forward or not. Some people can easily fold forward. Some people cannot. This is very much a pose that comes from the breath, not from the mind pushing, pushing, pushing. So enjoy yourself and try to work from your sits bones as you lift through the crease of that front part of the chest. Now here comes the fun part. So we're going to fall back. So if your wall is going to be in the way, or if you're really tight, Jim, this is not a bad, not a bad option to either have a bolster and a blanket behind or not. It's totally up to you. So if you're super tight, you might want to have something here like so. If you don't need anything, a blanket underneath the head is also fine. So look how we come into the post. Just bring your right foot to the floor. Now I cannot go much further, right? So I'm working toward lifting the knee up to come down and then slowly working the thigh from the hip and without hypermobilizing the back. So try not to hyperextend your back by drawing your belly down. Let that left knee draw in towards center. And then we let the breath do the work here. Check out, see how everybody is? So I knew this was going to be a challenge for some of you guys. I know.
I left ankle.
Yeah, I know. So come up a little higher or even bring a blanket underneath the foot. So that's where your restriction is. But if you let it go a little longer, you'll feel it come into the hip. So pad, pad, pad. My sweet trot. Let's bring something underneath your foot, okay? So this is where you would come up a little bit and bring your whole knee. The foot has something to hang on to. So let the foot bring this further forward. Better, girl. Yeah, so the foot hangs off. Yeah. Better? Okay, so if anybody needs me, you got it, Jim. So let me get you a second bolster or even a third bolster.
5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6, exactly. Love thyself. And there's one. Good. Head down. Okay, chest down. Oh, okay, one more. Yeah, you're good? Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. So you, my love, are going to try and take your foot on the outside of the hip. Because that hip's coming to the floor. And you can see how you're going like this.
Yeah.
So take the body over that way. That girl. Yeah. Now bring this knee in and bring this hip down. Yes, that's not good. Chin lifter. Better?
That's
Good. Good job, you guys. So take a break. I know it's killer, right?
I can't.
Very nice. So try to bring your knee in. This knee in. That's it. And then. That's it. Nice work on the breath. Good girl. So that exhale. Let your exhale roll. And when you feel that you are done, 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 start to make your way up again. Okay, so let's all come up. Good job, you guys. Come on up. We're going to do something really fun here, maybe. I don't know if Jen's going to like this, but we'll see how we go. So, don't come on close, honey. Up. Left knee under. Very important for you. So let's take the left knee out to the side and bend the right leg. So you see how my knees are in line? So technically, your hip, see how this hip is higher than this hip? So the left hip is higher than the right hip? Oh, I gave away my blanket. Give me some of that. Thank you very much. We could place something underneath this right hip so that the hips are in line. You got it, Jim. Nicely done. Unfortunately, the next part is going to be a little tough, but we'll just see how it goes. See if you can bring a block, or forget the blocks for you, Jim. Like you need like 4 blocks. So if you have 2 or 3 blocks, maybe give it a shot. So let's point this right foot. So take this left foot in. Take it right in. That's where your left, is it your left hip that's very tight?
It's actually, it's both a little different ways.
Good. Okay, so see if you can point this right foot a little so that you are trying to roll that inner ankle forward. And let's start to come forward here. So you see this left foot will start to stick out. So take that left foot in
And then see if you can bring your forehead onto the block and walk your hands forward. So you see the left foot starts to stick out. Point your right foot. So that left sits bone is trying to tuck in and under. You're pointing the right foot. Drawing that inner right ankle forward.
How's your foot lying?
It's okay, now I'm tucked in.
Oh, that's good. Good, Jim. Oh my gosh. So the other two ladies, take your left hand to that left foot, please, and draw it right in. Draw it right in. That's it.
See if you can walk your hands a little further forward.
So you, my dear, in the way, take your block away or take it down 2 levels. Take it down. Yeah, you can get your forehead down. That a girl. Good. Maybe come down even lower, but stretch your arms further forward. Have the arms completely straight. That a girl. Good. Nicely done.
So eventually we want to fold as far forward as we can, but staying within the pose. So we don't want to compromise the pose. See if you can walk your hands a little bit further forward, pressing your hips down. Slowly lift the head along.
Good job, guys. All right, so let's straighten the right leg. Let's straighten the left leg, coming into Dandasana. So I told you we'd be doing some funky stuff, right? Oh. Straighten your legs. And that's all pull forward here. Just take a forward fold. And grab the outsides of your feet if you can. So Paschimottanasana is a therapeutic pose, and we are working to lengthen through the side body. Try not to jam your sacrum into your lower back by reaching forward from the center of the back. Work from the sides, lengthening through the crease of the arm of the chest. That's it. Good. So we're pressing the backs of those sides down to the floor. Reaching to the balls of the feet to help release those thighs down. Lifting to the kneecaps. Thank God there's only 2 sides. Let's take the right hand and let's bring that knee foot in. Just do your best. And either support that outer left hip with a blanket or a ball. Whatever it takes or nothing. It's up to you. So remember, we're going to eventually lay back. So come forward a little further forward. Good, Jim. So I know this is a killer, isn't it? These ones. They're runner poses. You can see why they are runner poses, can't you? Okay, so you see the left hand stops us from rolling. Let's start to come forward. Right. So flex this left foot, working the left leg so that lifts its bone. Untucking.
dropping down. That's it, and we fold forward here. So, triangle Padapashanottanasana is the name of this pose. Only forward though. If we fold back, it becomes Ardha Supta Virasana. Challenging. I know these are challenging poses. I saw everybody challenged in the workshop when we were doing this.
Can't even make my foot go over here.
So sit up, sit on something higher. The higher you sit underneath that left hip, the more this.
Bend my foot outward, it doesn't.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to turn it out like that. That's a no-no.
No, that's not.
No, 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 no. No. That's enough. Take a break. Feel free to take a downward dog if you like. That girl. So let me give you a thought here. Wait, 1, 2, 4, 3.
Bolster. I think the blanket's not going to do it.
Yes, it will. Here. Put that foot there. Over, so scooch back a little bit. I can't move you. There we go. There we go. And then one more blanket underneath. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
That was my good side.
You're doing fine now. You're with us. Everything is good. Everything is fine. That's my teacher Ramanan's expression. Everything is fine. And then slowly start to come back. So keep in mind that we're going to fold back. So bringing your left foot to the floor. And you see how I'm lifting the knee? I'm releasing the leg to come down. And then I am lengthening this thigh from the right hip to bring that knee down. And it's up to you if you want to have the leg extended long or bent. Ardha Supta Virasana. Working toward the belly and the back coming down so we minimize this hyperextension of the back. Eventually the lower ribs come to the hips. So think about lengthening that right thigh from the right hip along the quadricep out through the knee. So it's an energetic lengthening from inside. Try to tuck that right sits bone in and under. Pressing down to the top of that right ankle. Outer ankle draws in. So my dear, if it makes you feel any better, I was like this morning, trying to figure out what I was going to teach. Going, oh my goodness, I can't even get into the pose. And then eventually, something comes. You gave it the effort, so don't feed it back with I can't, because you did. You gave it a good shot. And you were there. So all is good. All is fine. Well done. If the knee is high, you can place something underneath that knee, Jim, like the bolster. Not today, but that's it. So you can press down to the knee, and this creates a little more resistance. Good girl. Guys, good job. And then let's slowly start to make our way up. So we don't move the legs. No. Hey, we're staying here. Remember, we're going to the other side. So we open the knee out to the right, and then the left leg. So this leg here, the right leg is in Virasana, Ardha Virasana, and this is in Ardha Padmasana. So Point that left foot and bring that inner left ankle forward. Swastikasana. So we're not quite in Padmasana, we're in a cross-legged position. So think about lengthening this left thigh, and you can see as the right hip is higher than the left, this would be a good time to support so that the hips are on the same line. So point that left foot even more. Point that, that's it, and roll that inner left ankle forward. Yes. That's it. We keep working that left foot, so engage that left foot. That's it. Good. And then let's come forward on the block.
Try to keep your right foot from spraying out. And you walk the hands forward. So the name of this full pose, I think, is half Vamdevasana. So pointing the left foot so that instep of the inner left ankle comes forward. The right sits bone is tucking in and under. The left sits bone is untucking. And every so often that right foot may come away. So take your right hand behind and bring that right foot and tuck it in and under. See if you can walk your arms a little further away from you.
You're going to feel great at the end, though. That's the good news. Yeah.
Am I supposed to go in the middle? Because I'm not in there.
Well, we're working towards the middle, but unfortunately I'm not either. I can feel the work on the left side.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah,
I know. So that's why we want this right sits bone to scoop in and under, coming down further and further and further. And walking the hands a little bit further away from us if we can. The arms are straight. See if you can walk your arms a little bit further forward. More to center, more forward. And let's slowly walk the hands back in.
and let's take the downward dog with the ropes. So come to standing. Move your blanket. Let's cross our ropes. And feeding our right foot through that rope you're holding in the left hand. Let's bring the heels. Nope, right foot through the left rope. So the rope you're holding in the left hand, honey, put your right foot through that rope. There we go. I always say you gotta know your left from your right. That's the only problem. And we're all plagued by that one, not just the students, the teachers too.
So let's bring the hands to the floor, heels to the wall, halfway up the wall. And let's walk the hands forward, coming back into Adho Mukha. Shavasana, downward dog, but press those heels, reach your chest forward. Press your heels, reach the chest forward. Drop your chest, drop your head. Now scoop those sits bones and take your sits bones down to your heels, lifting through your kneecaps. Let's take the right hand to the left leg as you look underneath the left underarm. Press through that right heel and tuck that right sits bone in and under. Lifting through the crease of the armpit chest, so feel the sides of the body lengthen through the inhale and continue that length through the exhale. So even though we are looking underneath the left underarm, the left ribs are drawn towards the right ribs, and we're scooping the right sits bone in and under, lengthening through the sides of the body, feeling the armpit chest lengthen from the pelvis. Right hand back to meet the left. And now let's take the left hand to the right leg, but press through that left heel, scoop that left sits bone in and under, and then lift through the chest. Feel the sides of the body lengthen. So those right ribs are drawn towards the left ribs, even though we're looking underneath the right armpit. So we have a nice axle twist happening inside the spine. Left hand back to meet the right. See if you can walk your fingertips even further forward, stretching the spine even longer. Work from your heels. And let's walk the hands to the feet to the hands as we slowly start to come out of the downward dog. Okay, so now we're going to do Supta Padangusthasana. So we'll need a blanket for the head. We're going to use our low block and our strap. So depending on how flexible you are, everybody have a loop so that you can grab your loop and put your hand inside the loop if possible. So this helps to open the groin a great deal. So how do we measure? This is how we start. So you see about the full block. Let's bring the heels to the wall. So my knees are slightly bent and I can straighten the legs like so. Good. So let's all take the block underneath the left buttocks cheek slightly. So we roll to the right and just gently place the rubber block underneath the left hip. And then you can see I'm going to take my strap around that left foot. Left hand in the loop, so I've got lots of space. I press the right heel to the wall. And I'm going to keep these two thighs the best as I can on a level plane. So as I drop the left leg down, I try to keep these two at the same level, right arm out to the side. So I'm pressing that right heel into the wall to create a deep opening in that right groin. Opening the left leg out to the side, pressing actively through that right heel. Maybe looking to the right, but we're working to take that left leg down, but only at a pace so long as the two thighs are on the same height. Pressing that right heel into the wall, opening through that right groin, the best that we can do. Maybe you can take your right foot down a little lower, maybe you can take your left leg down a little lower, that's it. Release that leg. So let's just move the block off to the side, keeping that right leg long. And let's take the left thigh into the chest as we press that right heel to the wall. Pressing that right heel to the wall. Take the left thigh to the chest. And now let's take the left hand to the outer left foot. Take that left knee out towards the underarm, so out to the side. And press that right heel, left ankle on top of the knee. Press the right heel as you drop the left thigh down to the floor. So some of you might be really open and you can take that left knee right down to the floor. Do your best. Release the left leg, and let's take it to the wall. So both feet are pressing to the wall. So take the left foot to meet the right. Interlace your palms. Let's reach the palms away from us. Tuck, tuck, tuck. The sits bone in and under. Very nicely done, you guys. So try to keep this left heel as close to the wall. So I bend my knees a little, scooch a little bit closer. Left foot to the wall. Let's come over to the right and put the block so that it's just underneath the right hip this time. And then let's slowly come up. Let's take the right foot to the loop, left leg to the wall. And let's open that right leg out to the side. So do your best to try and keep the hips in line, pressing through the left heel, try not to let those left ribs stick out. And we're working that inner right thigh down to the floor, pressing through the left heel. So we're working that left groin. We're working hard to open this left groin here. Press that left heel, opening. The two sides together as one. So this is very much a union of two sides working together as one. Breathing deeply if you can, full body breath. Very deep for the groin. I'm just going to come up and just come around and take a look at everybody.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Left foot to the floor, honey. Heel to the ground. There we go. Now you're going to start to work. Better? Take the leg out to the side. There we go. So arm is straight. Take your foot to the hand. That's it. Index finger, middle finger to the big toe. That girl. Those two fingers try and link under. Yeah. Better. Yes. Better for you. Can you feel that? Yeah. So as you take that left leg down, take this thigh down too. So work the heel. That's it. So it should be an opening here now. Are you feeling that more? That's it. And Jen is the champion of the breath. Good breath work. So this is very much a happening. We let the doership go. And we become the witness. And the more we learn to create space like that through our lives, the more we become the witness, the less we're sort of subject to the ups and downs of the mind and all that's connected to that. So let's slowly take the leg up and remove the block. And then we're going to bend the right leg and take the outer right foot, try to drop that right knee down. So as I said, I saw some men in the last workshop I was in take both of their thighs to the floor. So the right shoulder is dropping down, the right thigh is dropping down, the left thigh is dropping down. Very nicely done, you guys. This is deep, methodical work, and your hips will thank you. Mine do. And then of course we need to do both sides together. So sometimes it helps to have something behind your head. The more height, the better it is for this pose. And let's take the outer feet and then work toward lengthening your buttocks down towards the floor. Knees drop down towards the floor. Taking the sits bones, lengthening the tailbone away from the buttocks to create that length in the lower back, lower buttocks. And then let's slowly release. Rolling to your right, taking your left hand and your right elbow to press you up. Let's take a downward dog, measuring from Adho Mukha Virasana, feet together, knees wide, arms extended long, so that we can measure the distance between our hands at the base of the pose. Lifting our hips, let's tuck the toes in and under, and take the downward dog. So look at your feet, make sure the outer feet are parallel. Press through the base of the foot and take your heels down as you lift those kneecaps up. Shoulders down away from the ears so the elbows are straight. The creases of those inner elbows are rolling up, and then we draw the outer forearms in to lock the shoulders down away from the ears. Lifting through the kneecaps, see if you can
Lengthen through the sides of the body without lifting the shoulders to the ears. Drop the knees down, nicely done everybody. So we're going to come to a seated position here. Running out of time. How about, we're not going to do this today, okay? Maybe, just for a minute. Let's give it a shot. Jim, give it a shot, all right? So have something, you've been a good sport today. A+ for enlightenment. I mean that genuinely. Okay, so we're going to have our strap and we're going to just explore half lotus. So we're just getting into half lotus. If for some reason you want to go with the full Monty, you can. So here we are. Let's take the left foot from the ankle to the right thigh. Just come and sit cross-legged. So you, my dear, are going to easily be able to come into Padma. So come forward, that girl. Good. Come forward, head right forward. You're going to lay back. So if you can take your right foot over your left, coming into the full pose, if that's accessible for you. Jim and the rest of us are just staying like so, okay? Let's take our strap around the outer thighs, like so. And then we're going to lay back. Trying to keep the lower belly, those lower ribs dropping to the hips so we're not hyperextending in the back. So just for a few moments. Don't take too long. Come and lay back. That's it. You got it. So we sort of got that right. So the idea is that the strap helps us not to spray out. So see if you can. Lengthening your thighs, so you're drawing your thighs in towards each other without hyperextending your back. There we go. So you see, all you did was, the length didn't come from your legs. You just found another way to do the pose, which is a very good thing. We want the body finding to have the least resistance, but at some point we start to tame things and rewrite the numbers, right? So the belly is dropping down, you're tucking. That's it. Lengthening those thighs from the hips to the kneecaps. That's it. Belly down. There we go. Belly down. There we go. So hard. That's it. Looking enlightened. Looking ridiculously happy. You got it. So resist and press your thighs to my legs. Yes. And now draw the thighs in. Beautiful. You can feel it, on this side. Very nicely done. So there's a double action there, isn't there? To try and explain that is a nightmare. But you did very well. Good job. Good job. Okay, I'm coming around to you now, my love. My little dove. Oh, no. Okay. You're just pressing your legs into my legs. There. That's all. Nice. And she's looking ridiculously happy, strangely enough. Yeah. Oh, you got it great. There we go. Yes. Good. Yes, you got it. I'm trying to help you with your hips. Okay, we're good.
Tap again.
Uncle. Hey, everybody, come on up.
Oh.
Because we're technically out of time here, and we have to do the other side, right? So you see, we're really working for the pelvic floor here and those lovely hips. We did this stuff. This is what we did. And everybody was like, oh.
This one is really
So
interesting.
don't worry. So just cross your legs then. Nothing else. Wrap your strap around your thighs. If you want, take your right foot up. If you want, take your left foot up. If you don't want to, take your left foot out. So we just find that place of accessibility. And then we take the strap so that the legs don't fly out when we come down. And then we start to work from the center of the buttocks, lengthening the thighs from those hips.
Actually,
It feels good? Hallelujah! You've come a long way, baby. You've come a long way. So I understand, like most of you, a lot of these poses are very inaccessible. So we just try and find our place. To make our way up now. And let's all take one last downward dog. So measure the distance between your hands and feet. It's a good practice to begin. So let's come into Adho Mukha Virasana just to measure that perfect distance for our hands and our feet for our perfect downward dog, Adho Mukha. So we just flush, take one final downward dog. Lifting through the kneecaps, pressing the heels down from the balls of the feet, lengthening through the backs of the heels, making those heels narrower and narrower. Shoulders away from the ears, drawing the outer forearms in to lock those shoulders down. And then see if you can lift your heels without bringing your sacrum forward. Take your heels down. And whenever you feel ready, slowly drop your knees down and let's come onto the back. We're going to come into our final rest now, Shavasana. So bring your blanket underneath the back of your head. And just extend the legs long. So the feet are no further than about a foot apart. Tucking the shoulders in and under. Let's allow the palms to fall face up. And let's bring the mind now to the center of the forehead. The third eye, the Ajna chakra. And let the two halves of the forehead fall away from each other. So let that right side fall down and over to the right. Let the left side fall down and over to the left. Softening now through the innermost corner of the eyes. So softening the innermost corner of the eyes. Softening the outermost corner of the eyes. Softening through the innermost corner of the ears. So this is one of the first places where we feel tension in that innermost corner of the ear area. So softening that area one more time.
softening the innermost corner of the ear. Allow the mind to be still now with the body. Breath now, starting to come back to the breath. Drawing your knees into your chest. Let's take one claw and rock. Rolling along the sacrum, releasing through the lower back and hips. And rolling to your right. Use the left hand and the right elbow to press up. Just come and sit on your bolster. Arms up now, and look up from your sits bones as you bring your palms together, lengthening through that side body from the hip to the underarm. Feel this length. You worked hard to create it. Thank you all. Hands to prayer. Just take a moment and thank yourself now for a great effort on a Sunday morning. Good job, you guys. So we probably did a little bit more because there was just a few of us today and we could get through a little more content, and it was definitely difficult. There's no doubt